After a 4-game skid, the A's finally exhaled. We all exhaled with a 5-2 win in Houston. Today on Locked On A's.
You are Locked On A's, your daily podcast on the Athletics, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On A's, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. I am your host, Booney. One name, all fire, no filter. I've been riding with this franchise since Ricky turned singles into triples and the Bash Brothers made baseball feel like a rock concert. This isn't just a podcast. It's a war room for A's fans who are tired of waiting, tired of excuses, and ready to build the future from ground up. We're not sitting around for 2028 to magically fix everything. We are building the Las Vegas A's fan base right now, brick by brick, from Sacramento to the Strip, from breakdowns on the field to front office fireworks. We cover it all with heat, honesty, and a little humor to cut through the pain. You will always get both sides here, but make no mistake, we call it like we see it. This show belongs to the fans who still give a damn. Got something you want me to cover? Hit me up. I'm not here to lecture. I'm here to build a community of A's fans who still believe, who still fight, and who aren't backing down. We are free and available on every podcast platform, including YouTube. So hit subscribe, share it with every diehard A's fan still breathing, and let's build something loud enough that the league can't ignore. Today's episode is brought to you in part by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Well, guys, got to win. How about that, huh? Felt good. It's always nice to win in Houston. Get things rolling. Severino looked great, didn't he? He was awesome. What's up, young dimer? Yo, how are you, pal? Doing well? You watched the game tonight? Big win. They're calling, I think, Daikin Park right now. Daikin Park. And Severino was good, man. Crisp fastballs. They had some timely hits and a magic formula that spelled snap skid. It was tough losing those 4 in a row. And we finally exhaled. The A's finally exhaled. 5-2 win. That felt darn good, man. And Severino's last 2 starts, he's looked as good as he could, just in time too. I mean, trade deadline was this his last start. Cortes with his first career start. I thought he looked good. I was happy with Cortes. I thought one of the key at bats that came out of nowhere today was Lawrence Butler getting on. And the thing about Butler, man, that makes him so attractive as far as the future, and it tends to make you ignore the slumps when he's going well. He has a hell of an at bat in the second inning. He worked a walk. He stole second. And then he advanced to third on the throwing error. I mean, and he was up and at him, committed right when that throwing error happened, right to third. And Carlos Cortes, his first key really is, I mean, he had an at bat in Texas where he flew out lazily. That was his first career. And I believe he walked a full count in that situation. And Alexander made a hell of a pitch on the outer half, got the ball on the bat, and drove it deep enough to center field to score Butler. So I thought, I'm happy with Cortes. And what they don't cover with Cortes is he's looked good as far as his numbers go in Vegas. But you got to remember, Cortes, 25 games into the season in Vegas, was hitting like 220. I mean, he was terrible. And over the last, 50 games or so, the guy's been on fire. So he's earned his way up, man. And He had a nice hit, an RBI. He had some good at-bats. Bamboo! Severino got as good showing as we inch closer to the deadline. Yeah. Severino looked good today, man. Severino looked unbelievable today. One of his better outings of the year, man. When you're looking at a guy like Severino today, 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, no walks, 8 strikeouts. It's what we were looking for. It's a good outing. As you said it, Bamboo, as we inched closer to the trade deadline. 91 pitches. Second straight win. He had a win against Cleveland too, right? 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs. So, I mean, really his last 12 innings, it's been pretty good. So, yeah, I think that's important. I think that's relevant when the trade deadline comes. I'm sure a lot of teams are sitting there like, hey, he's worth getting. So his value went up for sure today. Thank you, Luis Severino. Was today the last time we see Luis Severino on the mound for the A's? I think there's a good chance. Man. I think Severino, teams are looking for pitching. Teams need pitching. And I don't think the A's are willing just to give Severino away. And Severino has shown the type of stuff where he could win big games. He could dominate opponents' lineups. He might be somebody that a team needs, that they think that's going to fill in the back end of the rotation. He still has an incredible arm. He touches 98. Yeah. Hey, and his breaking ball and his off-speed stuff and his slider has some snap to it. And if he's commanding the zone like he did tonight, he's tough. There's no question about it. Severino has had some great outings today. What's up, Vegas? Severino wants out. Yeah, no kidding, man. Severino sure dealt tonight for sure, man. For sure. He wants out, man. He wants out of Sacramento so bad. Yeah. But overall, man, it was a good win. Good win. It's always fun to beat the Astros. And Bamboo, my thoughts was he wants out. Yeah. You know, I think what's going to make this year fun is playing spoiler. How about if we go to Houston and get a couple wins? I'm sure they're counting on winning 3 of 4. I know they're banged up a little, but I'd sure love to rain in on their parade, you know? I mean, through, like I said, 7 innings. He shut out the Astros until the 7th, yielding just 4 hits, walking no one, 8 strikeouts. And it was easy. There was no stress innings for Severino with the exception of the 7th, which was minor stress. He said post-game he'd stopped running from his fastball and started attacking with it. It looked like he did. So, and it was good to get Jason Alexander, wasn't it? Jason Alexander, the former A. You guys remember Jason Alexander? Still, the worst loss. I'm going to talk to you about the worst loss of the season. That the A's had, in my opinion, my personal worst loss for the A's. I'll see you in a minute. Talk to you about it. And first, let's talk about Game Day Hugh. Today's episode of Locked On A's is brought to you by Game Day Huey. And yeah, this hat I'm wearing, straight from them. For A's fans like me who want to rep the green and gold without looking like we rated the team store clearance bin, this one nails it. No oversized logos, no screaming mascots, just clean, smart, everyday style that hits whether you are in the stands, on the golf course, or just dodging another bullpen meltdown at the grocery store. Personally, I've worn this thing to tee times, tailgates, and even to my last live show. It slides right in with the rest of my gear. Doesn't replace my team branded stuff. It just rounds out the lineup. Subtle, sharp, and still says, yeah, I ride for this team, even when they drive me nuts. And hey, it's just not the hats. The split shade gloves are a must if you are out on the course or looking for the kind of gift that says, I thought of something cooler than just a jersey again. Perfect grip, clean color pops, and just the right amount of flash for the fan who already has 5 rally towels and a signed base. Right now, you can get 15% off with code MLB15 at GameDayHue.com. That's GameDayHue.com. The discount stacks on bundle deals too. So whether you are gearing up for the playoffs or just bracing for the next rebuild, you will look good doing it. Can't blame him either as far as wanting out. Yeah, no, you can't blame him, can you? You can't blame anybody. We talked about it earlier today's show about how the franchise is run and what they need to clean up. I mean, what are you going to do? It is what it is. Today was fun. Today was fun getting that win. When this team plays, it's fun. Tonight's performance is what we all expected and wanted from the beginning of the season. No question. And Vegas, I think we got that in the beginning of the season too. I think we got these type of performances. We had good pitching. We had a really good bullpen. We had good hitting. Somewhere along the way, it went away. Anyway, to my personal worst loss of the year, we just swept the Royals in KC. Remember? 3 in a row we had. Then we go back to Sacramento and we open up, I believe it was a 4-game set against the Astros. Game 1. Remember game 1? Walk off by Kurtz. The bat flip. Boom. I'm like, beautiful. 4 in a row. Here we go. And we faced Jason Alexander the next game. Jason Alexander, we were actually supposed to face Lance McCullers, one of Houston's better pitchers who dealt against us a couple weeks earlier in Houston. And he was hurt. So they brought up Jason Alexander, who we waived about 3 weeks earlier from AAA Vegas. He had like an 18 ERA with the A's. And since McCullers got hurt, they brought up Alexander to start against the A's. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, dude, this is going to be 5 in a row. We got to hit this guy. And Alexander just shut us down with absolute garbage. So yeah, it was good to have we hit him hard tonight. We hit him how we should have hit him when we played against them the first time. I mean, 6 innings, 11 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned. I mean, if you even look at it, we weren't even great with hitters and runners in scoring position. We were 2 for 11. Kurtz is so good. I mean, how good is Nick Kurtz, man? How special is that guy? Soderstrom, nice double the other way, inside out swing, looked great. Luis Urias with the bomb. And who's all the Gio Urshela haters out there? I'm thinking sign Gio Urshela to a long-term extension. But hey, Urshela had 3 hits. Who would have thought this, guys? Would you believe this? Batting average today, Gio Urshela 235, Lawrence Butler 238. Would you have ever guessed that? Not me. But like I said, man, when Butler figures things out, when he has the good at bat he had in the his first at bat, got on base, worked a walk. We see how explosive he can be. I mean, he literally got that first run on his own, stole second, forced the run. I mean, he didn't wait. Once that ball just crept away in the center, he was off. Obviously, he didn't have any hits today. He's still struggling at the plate. I think a lot's between his ears. But Cortes came through, just a clutch at bat, driving him home. So, yeah, I mean, I think what Vegas, kind of to your point, the thing with this team is we've shown we could throw great baseball, which has been play great baseball. That's what's this year's been so darn frustrating is we have looked like an unbelievable team one day. I mean, when we win pretty. And the next day we just don't even show up. So the consistency of this squad has been frustrating. Every time you think they're going to turn the corner, it's, they let you down. But, like I said, I think the goal right now is like, hey, it's fun to watch these guys play good baseball. It's fun to watch the kids play. And I'd love to play spoiler. I'd love to break Houston's heart. And, really down the stretch, since there's going to be a lot of teams contending for playoff spots, let's play spoiler. But the question is, guys, I mean, was this Severino's last start? Is that a wrap for Luis Severino in an A's uniform? I don't know. I saw some shows today. Brody Brazil had a show. It's always a little, old Bro's always a little sketchy. You don't know what you're getting for old Brody. He said he has insider info on the A's trading Rooker and Mason Miller. And kind of went on his own tangents like, hey, they get the players and they recycle them and then they ship them off. Whatever, dude. I don't think Rooker's getting traded whatsoever. And the word on Miller is that he's not getting traded either. Personally, I wouldn't mind. I'm not opposed to the A's trading Mason Miller. Just because we've seen in history that closers lose value fast. You look at a guy like who's on, I was looking at closers who are on the market right now. You look at a guy like, for example, David Bednar from Pittsburgh. And he was one of baseball's top closers a few years back. They didn't deal him. Same kind of idea as Miller is, right? Still had several years of team control. They didn't deal him. Well, now they're looking to deal him, and his value wasn't close to what it was a few years back. And also the reason is we don't use Miller. You know what was ironic about tonight's game? Is that Kotsay brought Miller in the 8th for that 4-out save, which was awesome. But he waits till we're like 30 games under 500. 19 games out of 20 games under 500 to do that. There was actually a sense of urgency. But back in April against, or was it May, against Seattle, when we needed that time, they wanted to save their bullets. Maybe Kotsay listened to Locked On A's today. Maybe. Oh, man, I would not be surprised if they trade Rooks or Miller. To me, only untouchables are Kurtz and Willie. Vegas. Rooker said that. Yeah, I saw that too. Rooker was on, was it foul territory, I believe? Rooker said he's not going anywhere, and I believe that. I don't think they're going to move Rooker at all. Not one bit. With Miller, I would not mind them moving him if we get something in return. Or I want to see them try Miller as a starter. I'm just kind of sick and tired of not using Miller. That's my whole thing there, right? unless they change their ways and like start acting like they want to win games. But Miller really, if you really look at Miller's season, his numbers don't look great, right? But if you really break it down, it's really not that bad. I'm going to tell you what I mean with regard to Miller. I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean in about 2 minutes. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group like Bamboo, maybe Vegas, maybe Gravity to go with you to the game. Game Time makes it possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch, and they have got incredible last minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Locked On MLB, making it easy to browse the app for an exciting upcoming Major League Baseball game. Maybe when the A's get back to Sutter? Tired of endless scrolling, trying to find the best deal? Game Time Zone Deals. Pick the best seats in your section for you. Seat views right in the app before you buy, so you know exactly where you will be. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. What's up, Grav? Yeah, I read that too. Rooker was told he's not. Yeah, he was told. And I believe. They're not going to move Rooker. I think it's just what the A's think as far as marketing and going to Vegas. Rooker's the cornerstone, right? He's the cornerstone right now of the franchise. You know, I don't see him moving at all. Not at all. I thought of you, Bunny, when Rooker made the statement that he is, yeah, I freaking love Rooker, man. Love Rooker. I love Rooker. They're not moving him. And again, with regard to Mason Miller, let's use him. And they made a mistake at the beginning of the year with Miller. And I'm going to get back to my point with regard to Miller's had a better year than we think. All right. And here's what I mean, guys. If you really take a look at his year, his stats don't look great, right? 20 saves, 3.86 ERA, not the prettiest. But he's only really had, he gave up 3 runs, 3 earned in Kansas City on a game they were up 6-1. It was one of those games where they had to get him some work, right? He didn't pitch for a while. They were up 6-1. Usually closers don't pitch that great in those type of games, right? Versus the White Sox in Sutter, 1 inning, 2 hits, 2 runs. We still won the game. He still got the save, but obviously, didn't look great in that outing. Then we have, of course, right? Who can forget May 3rd? Kyle Stowers, grand slam. 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned. Yeah, that one hurt. He was still 1 strike away from winning that game. Yankees won game. He came in garbage time, 1 2/3, a hit, a run, earned run, whatever. This one hurt. 2/3 of an inning against the Phillies. 4 hits, 3 runs. Same thing. He went the next night, 2 hits, 1 run. KC, garbage time. I talked about that. Houston, 2 hits, 1 run. We won that on Kurtz's walk-off. Other than that, he's been solid. His last 8 outings. His last 8 1/3 innings, total of 2 hits. 8, 10, 11. 11 strikeouts. His last 8 outings. 8 1/3, 11 strikeouts, 2 hits, 3 walks. He's looked great. So he's been better than we think. I don't think he's had as big as off the year as we think. Nice to see Sevy and Sears both have solid outings before the deadline. Yeah, I could see them moving Sears as well. So I like Sears too, man. The thing that you could always count on with a guy like JP Sears, he's going to compete. He's going to fight you. And that's what I do like about Sears. But so far, for the most part, fellas, it's been quiet with regard to the trades. And I think it's going to be a quiet deadline. I don't think there's going to be much movement. And I'll tell you why. You have so many teams right now competing for a playoff spot. I'll give you an idea what I'm looking at and what I mean. As far as the standings right now, I'm not going to talk about the A standings already. It's done. But for example, in the American League, you have Rangers, Rays, Guardians, Royals, Twins, Angels, right? All those teams. Angels still within 5.5 games back of a wild card. Only 3 teams that are out of it are Orioles, A's, and White Sox. In the National League, you have Giants, Reds, Cardinals, Diamondbacks. Marlins only 6 back. All still around. It's going to be tough for the Marlins to get there, but point being is you have so many teams in contention where they can't decide if they're sellers or buyers. So all the teams right now out there are looking for a perfect deal. They want a deal that is so obviously to their advantage where they would pull the trigger. Other than that, most teams, I think they're just going to stay pat. You know, if they don't get that deal, they'll be like, okay, fine. We're going to sit pat and make a run at this wild card. And I think it's going to be tough to extract players from some of these types. I mean, we got a week from today, trade deadline. So we'll see what happens, but I think it's going to be a quiet trade deadline. I don't see much happening. And I'm excited to see what happens with the A's. They've been obviously fielding calls for Mason Miller, and what I've heard and what I've read is that the A's really aren't looking to move Miller. I think they would if it was the right piece. If it was just an overwhelming good deal. And with regard to Severino, he sure helped his case the last 2 starts. Severino's had great outings. In Milwaukee, 1-0 shutout win. Against the Mariners opening night, he dealt. Against the Giants, he was awesome. Tonight, he was really, really good. You know, Severino's been hit or miss. He's had really, really dominant outings. He's had some really ones where he's just laid an egg. And obviously, most of those have been at home, and he's definitely expressed his feelings towards that. My whole thing and my whole idea is, and why I have a hard time believing that we're going to get any type of deal for Severino unless we package somebody else with him, is that, all right, well, he was on the free agent market. No one wanted to touch him. Now you see what he is with an over 5 ERA, and now you want to pick up that contract? I don't know. Or are you going to settle, or was it a situation where, okay, 2 years, $44 million you would do, but you wouldn't do the 3 years, $66 million? Maybe 2 years and $44 million is a big difference. It is a big difference, but still, it's still $22 million a year. Absolutely. Miller is our trade piece with the most value in getting some good pitching prospects. Yeah. I don't want to give anybody away. So, in other words, if the A's if the A's don't make one move this trade deadline, I'm okay with it. I'm really okay with it. And that includes Severino. Because I know we tried, right? And I know the deals just weren't in our favor. And I don't want to trade just to trade. I want the trade to be to our advantage. And if there's not a trade out there that's to our advantage, let's stick with what we have, man. Let's stick with what we have, and play it out and see what happens. Also you guys got to remember, as far as pitching, Gunnar Hoglund looked damn good in his few outings, but got hurt. I don't know how long he's out. Davidson DFA'd. He was a first-round first baseman, I'm sure. No, he's been out there for a long time, Davidson. It had nothing to do with Kurtz. He just hasn't been doing anything, I'm bummed out about Davidson, but he's had his time. He's been in the minor leagues for 5 years, so it's way before Kurtz. And Davidson played a little bit everything in the infield. He was actually drafted as a shortstop. When Davidson got drafted, and who prospects mirrored Davidson as, it was Corey Seager. It was a switch-hitting Corey Seager who they thought Logan Davidson would become. Big shortstop, powerful. He just hasn't been that guy. And, after some time, you just move on. But it had nothing to do with Kurtz. I mean, this year was the first time Davidson got called up after 5 years, right? Bummer, but that's just the way it goes. You know who got called up by the Dodgers is Estuary Ruiz. Is Severino career over after his contract with the A's is up? It's a good question. How old is Severino? I don't think so. Let me see, how old is he? I mean, you look at pitchers, though, man. I mean, who's that lefty that went the other day? Why am I 45 years old? He had a decent outing, too. 5 innings, 3 runs, 1 earned. What's his name? You guys know what I'm talking about. Lefty, throws garbage. I forget it off the top of my head. I don't know why it slipped in my head. Severino is 31 years old. So by the time his contract's up, 33 years old. Rich Hill. Thanks, Vig. Yes, Rich Hill. 45 years old. If you know how to pitch, man, you can pitch as long as you want. So I don't know. I think with a lot of these pitchers, if you stay healthy, if you can eat up innings, you're going to have a contract. So I wouldn't say necessarily Severino's done. Not at all, but it's wild, fellas. The one thing that's just changed so much is pitching. You just don't know anymore, right? You don't know how long these guys will last. I think you have to build pitching from within. Wonder why they gave up on. No, they had to. It was the right move. So what happened in that one was Esty was on the 40-man roster. They had to make room for him. I don't remember exactly what happened, Bamboo, but I knew at the time, I was like, they had no other choice but to waive him. They had to create room for him. I forget the exact, and he wasn't hitting. You got to remember, in spring training, he was like hitting under 100. When he was in Vegas, he wasn't hitting. Sometimes just a good change of environment is what he needs. He's been injured a lot and has been inconsistent. So I was wondering if he has a market. Severino, as long as they stay healthy. And that's the thing about Severino about this year, though, right? Severino's still one of the top 10 pitchers in innings. What's been good about Severino is he's been there every 5 days. He hasn't missed a start, and he's eaten up innings. I mean, what else do you want? He's had great outings. He's had dominant outings. And he's gotten shelled as well. I think Severino's a hell of a major league pitcher. He's not an ace, and he's not a 3-year, $66 million a year guy. So that's the whole thing with him. He's a good back end rotation guy for a championship team. He's good. He is who he is, though. He is who he is. Listen, when going into this season, what I expected from Severino, I didn't expect him to be this good on the road. I didn't expect him to be this bad at home. Somewhere in the middle. I didn't expect his great outings to be that good and his bad outings to be that bad. And I didn't expect him to be as vocal as he was about everything else that was going on, considering what he's been making. But, he's been all right. He's been all right. But I want to get rid of him. And it's not necessarily where I don't think Severino can pitch. I'm just saying, I think he's good. My whole point being is if that frees up, let's be honest, the A's are going to be stringent on what they spend. They're going to only spend the minimum they have to in order to be able to participate in the revenue sharing. We know that. The A's have been like that since Hoffman and Schott bought the team. And they've been public about it. They're not like, it's no secret. They've come out publicly and they've said, hey, listen, it's profit first for us. Baseball second. They have been very outspoken about that. I watched the Aviators River Cats game and the balls were flying out of Sutter Health. Yep. River Cats won that one in a little squeaker, huh? Waldichuk didn't look good. I was bummed out on that one. Geloff went yard. Geloff hit a bomb. That's nice. Blade looked okay. Brett Harris only had one hit. I was bummed out on that. But, yeah, man, Waldichuk got hit around again. 4-3, I think they lost that one. But who else played in that game? I think McIver had a hit. Susak did okay, I think. I'm trying to remember. But what was I getting at? Tomorrow, the A's got game 2 against the Astros. And the Astros are banged up too. So if there's any time to really take advantage of the Astros, it's today. Tomorrow we have Jeffrey Springs versus Ryan Gusto. Ryan Gusto. 6-3, 4.46 ERA. Maybe another opportunity we can get one, huh? Scare him a little bit. Who knows? Sutter Health is Coors Field 2.0. I agree. Not quite. I think it's like Coors Field 1.75. But yeah, it's the ball. Two reasons for it, right? There's no upper deck. So none of the wind gets blocked off and hot, obviously. And the ball just freaking pops out of there, man. But it was generally a low-scoring game out there, Anthony. So anyway, fellas, good win tonight, man. Always fun to get a win. And to get back at it tomorrow. We'll see what this trade line does. And hopefully A's continue to play loose, play a little spoiler, have some fun with it. It was nice to see Kotze. Obviously, he listened to Locked On A's this morning. No, but it was cool to see Mason Miller get that 4-out save. I did like that. Michael Kelly got in a little problems, and he went right to the bullpen. I wish he managed like that since the beginning of the season. And maybe there's stuff they know more about his health that we don't know. But I like that he brought him in the 8th, and he got those, and Miller looked great, man. So that was good to see. Gio Urshela, 3 hits. for Gio, man. All right, guys, thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. Thanks for cruising by, fellas. I will check you out tomorrow. Enjoy yourselves.